Once the deadline on May 7th arrives, they will ask you to show a national ID card if you want to travel by plane, Michael Snyder reports. More than 100 countries around the world would have a national ID card. Now the United States has one too. Starting on May 7th, you will be asked to show a real ID card if you want to fly on an airplane. And once authorities have established that precedent, it's just a matter of time before a real ID card is requested for all sorts of other things. Being forced to show your papers, quote unquote, in order to exercise basic freedoms goes against everything that the nation is supposed to represent. Unfortunately, that's precisely what is about to happen once we reach the deadline on May 7th. Due to law passed by Congress in 2005, that has been repeatedly extended for 2 decades. Anyone traveling on domestic flights must have the new real ID to get through routine security protocols and board a plane. Real ID also shows access to some federal buildings and nuclear facilities. The deadline of May 7, 2025 now appears not set and is unlikely to be extended again, with the Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, extending hours to help Americans obtain them. We have now received official confirmation that there will be no more extensions of this deadline. The Sunday Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted the following message on Twitter. Starting on May 7, everyone needs a real ID, passport, or another approved identification to fly. Real ID helps ensure that travelers are who they say they are and prevents fraud by criminals, terrorists, or illegal aliens. Enforcing federal law will help keep Americans travelers safe. So how will this keep us safer? TSA screening are already way too intrusive. Why do we need to add this additional step? For decades, we've been giving up liberty for more security, and that has not made our society a better place. In response to Noem's announcement, former U.S. Representative Ron Paul posted the following. What is Kristi Noem doing? Real ID is tyrannical, authored by the same author of the Patriot Act. Ron Paul is right. Real ID was wrong when it originally became law, and it is wrong now. That is why so many states have been resisting it all these years. A lawmaker from Maine named Laurel Libby believes that Real ID is a de facto national identification system. Collecting and storing people's personal data increases the risk for data breaches and identity theft, she argued. She also said it acts as a de facto national identification system which controls the principles of federalism and individual freedoms. Nobody can really argue with this because it's true. The Real ID card is a national ID card. Nothing that they say is ever going to make that okay. And now that the deadline is approaching, DMV offices all over the country are absolutely swamped as people scramble to get there in time. From coast to coast, DMV offices are swamped. This is national. It's literally chaos and mayhem around the country, said Yanoulias. In Florida, they're sleeping in their cars in tents in front of the DMV. Other states are shutting down their systems. And for what? To create reams of data that former staffers who are no longer at disseminated federal bureaus won't ever look at. I'm not a national security expert, said Yanoulias, but to me it seems an enormous waste of time and resources for this little star on our license. The primary reasons why so many people are rushing to get Real ID cards is so that they can continue to fly. At this point, it's being estimated that 19% of all travelers nationwide are not ready for the deadline. Washington state residents are running out of time to get Real ID compliant, as an estimated 19% of travelers nationwide are still not ready. Beginning May 7th, U.S. residents must present a Real ID compliant form of identification during security screenings to board domestic flights. And according to the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, 81% of travelers nationwide are ready for real ID enforcement. If the requirement were to go into effect today, 500,000 travelers would not be compliant out of the 2.5 million people screened daily. And using the same percentages at SCA Airport, which screened around 60,000 people daily, 12,000 travelers would not be real ID ready. This is going to be a real mess. And a U.S. Representative, Thomas Massey, has aptly pointed out implementing a national ID card is going to do nothing to stop foreign terrorists from kidnapping planes. In the thread of messages on X, formerly Twitter, the congressman wrote on Saturday, "Real ID is not needed and won't stop terrorists from hijacking planes. Most of the 9/11 hijackers held Saudi, UAE, Egyptian, or Lebanese passports. Real ID is a national standard and database of IDs, and that's primarily a tool for control of Americans. Trump shouldn't enforce it." And then on Monday, Massey warned in another X post that the Real ID is not a database, is proof that your physical person matches an entry in the digital database. Its power and purpose will be realized when everyone complies, but not before. And this is responsive to, I didn't give them much information. I've had one for years. Why worry? He nailed it. This is a tool of control, and I really wish that people would speak out about how wrong this is. The good news is that there will still be at least some other forms of identification that you can use to travel by plane if you do not want to get a real ID card. In addition to a passport, the following are the forms of identification that will be considered acceptable: state-issued enhanced driver's license, DHS Trusted Traveler Guide, a U.S. Department of Defense ID, including IDs issued to dependents, permanent resident card, border crossing card, an acceptable photo ID issued by a friendly, recognized tribal nation, Indian tribe, including enhanced tribal cards, HSPT PD12 PIV card, foreign government issued payment passports, Canadian provincial driver's license or Indian and North Affairs Canada card, transportation worker identification credential, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Employment Authorization Card, I-766, U.S. Merchant Marine Credential, Veteran Health Insurance Card, VHIC. So between now and May 7th, we need to have millions of Americans flooding our leaders in Washington, D.C. with phone calls and emails. If we don't speak up now, they're going to cross this line. And once they cross the line, it will just be a matter of time before they cross the next one. Benjamin Franklin once made the following statement: "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." Over the past several decades, they have taken so much liberty away from us. Are you okay with them taking even more? This is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, a blockbuster entitled Why, is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He also has written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of Future America, The Beginning of the End, Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to publish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.